Hi everyone, Spider-Man 1991 here, and it's time for GN Monthly for the month of November 2012. Okay, kicking it off, we've got Avengers Volume 3 from Marvel. This is pretty much the second to last story arc, the last story arc before Avengers vs. X-Men. And it pretty much deals with Norman Osborn trying to pretty much making alliances with Hydra and AIM to bring back Hammer and take down the Avengers. And also, this story arc saw the return of the Vision to the Avengers, and also Storm joins. So, I have to say this was a pretty nice story. Not saying it's my favorite Avengers story, but it was very nice. Now I think it was kind of Bendis' way of trying to close off everything he had done with Norman Osborn in the past few years with Dark Reign and everything. But still, I think if you enjoyed seeing Osborn fighting the Avengers, then you should get this because it seems very nice. Also, if you're a fan of the Vision, then I would recommend it for that too because Vision's awesome. And yeah, and also this did tie into another story arc in New Avengers, which I'm planning on getting when it comes out in paperback form. So yeah. I recommend. So I'd say yeah. If you liked Osborn and the Avengers and you like the Vision, then you should definitely give this a read. Okay, now for DC Comics. Starting off with All-Star Batman Robin Volume 1. Although really, I don't know why I said Volume 1 because this is probably the only collected edition we'll get of the series. This was written by Frank Miller and artwork by Jim Lee. And this was a series, and this was kind of a prelude to the Dark Knight, kind of a prequel to the Dark Knight Returns and the Dark Knight Strikes Back. So it is set in the Frank Miller Batman universe. And this is kind of a young DC universe. I mean, it does take place after Batman Year 1, but it's also Batman, it starts off with Dick Grayson's parents dying, and Batman takes the boy in, but it's not as loving as the tale has been told in the past because Batman really acts more like a drill sergeant in this rather than kind of like a fatherly figure. And also there are interactions with other heroes like Superman and Green Lantern. And again, when I say young DCU, it's not just for Batman because apparently Superman can't fly yet. I'd recommend this to people if you enjoyed the Dark Knight Strike. If you enjoyed any kind of Batman story arc by Frank Miller, then you will definitely enjoy this. But another thing about this series I want to point out is that it was pretty much canceled, or I don't want to say canceled, but eventually Jim Lee and Frank Miller couldn't continue it, and they stopped after issue 10. And this only collects the first 9, so for issue 10 you have to go on eBay, and I found issue 10, I bought it, and now I'm waiting for it to arrive. But all I can say is that I really wish they could have at least tried to continue, and they did try to pick it up again and try to, and Frank Miller and Jim Lee were going to try to, continue and try to conclude everything so that people would know how it ends, but unfortunately the New 52 happened and Jim Lee got busy with Justice League, so it didn't happen. Which sucks, because I kind of like this, and I would have at least liked to get to the conclusion and know how it ends. Still, again, if you loved The Dark Knight Returns or The Dark Knight Strikes Back or Year 1, then I would highly recommend this, because it's pretty much just Frank Miller's Batman universe. Okay, moving along. Something from the New 52, Red Hood and the Outlaws, Volume 1. Not exactly sure why I got this. I heard some people saying that this was a good story, good series, but I don't know. I just wanted to give it a try because I wanted to see how they set up Jason Todd again in the New 52, and also what happened with Arsenal and Starfire. But I'd say it's more of an action book rather than like a deep story, because I mean, pretty much for the first story arc, the Outlaws here are dealing with some sort of assassins that were against this group that trained Jason right after he came back from the dead. And there is some insight, and there are a few little flashback moments that sort of tell what happened when Jason returned to Gotham for the first time, and also what happened with a little bit of what happened with Starfire and Nightwing, but you don't really get full answers. And I don't know. I mean, I would recommend this to people who like a lot of action in their comics. So I'd say, yeah, this is more of an action book rather than something with a big revelation story. But, I mean, maybe... So, yeah, if you're a fan of Jason Todd, or I guess or if you want more action in your comics, then I'd say Red Hood and the Outlaws is for you. Other than that, can't really recommend it. Okay, now for something that I know people have been looking forward to since the first volume came out, and when this came out, I was very happy. It's Superman Earth 1 Volume 2. So Clark Kent has been Superman for a couple of months now, and he's pretty much. And there are some people on Earth who don't fully trust him yet. He does fight the Parasite in this, and when that happens, the Parasite does take away his powers, and so he gets to experience for the first time what it's like to be a normal person on Earth, and it does freak him out a little. And he does fight the Parasite again, but this time he's able to use some sort of Kryptonian plastic suit. Like he had some, and when that happened, I remembered when I saw Clark wearing like the covering that his Kryptonian ship provided for him, I kind of thought back to this episode of Superman the Animated Series when Superman was fighting the Parasite in Livewire, and when he showed up to fight them, he was like covered in plastic. It was just really funny. And so Superman fights the Parasite for the first time, and it does seem like. And also in the world of Clark Kent, after his first article about Superman, Perry White encourages him to write about other stuff and try to expand his journalism outlook because he sees potential in Clark. And Lois Lane tries to learn more information about Clark Kent by calling all his old teachers in Smallville and doing a background check and stuff because she doesn't fully trust him. But at the end of the story, she does kind of lighten up and realize that Clark seems like an okay guy. So. And one more thing about Earth 1 Volume 2. Even though Superman fights the Parasite in this issue, the way it ends, it kind of sets up for a sequel, is that the government who originally had Superman's ship in custody, and they're looking at hiring two more consultants to help them figure out a way to defeat the Man of Steel. And they are Lex Luthor and his wife, Alexandra. Wait. Is that her name, Alexandra? Let me check. Let's see here. Yep, Alexandra. So yeah, Superman Earth 1 Volume 2, very nice. As good as the first volume. It's great. I really do love these Earth 1 books by DC. Are really hitting the marks. I would highly recommend them to anyone who wants to just read a Superman story or a Batman story without having to be dragged down by continuity. So yeah, that's it for GN Monthly. Okay, quick wrap up. Superman Earth 1 Volume 2, very nice, definitely recommended. As good as the first volume. And again, one more thing, if you haven't read the first volume, I recommend you read that, then this. Red Hood and the Outlaws Volume 1. Only read it if you like Jason Todd or a lot of action in your comics. All-Star Batman Robin, Volume 1. I'd say get it if you like Frank Miller on Batman. Or just Frank Miller in general. And Avengers, Volume 3. Get it if you like Norman Osborn fighting the Avengers, or if you're a Vision fan. Okay, well, that's it for GN Monthly this month. Thanks for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Spider-Man 1991 saying see you later.